always wonderful to come back to Kathmandu. Kathmandu has been, you can say, literally my favorite city, and I've been traveling here for the last 35 years, almost every year, 2 or 3 times. And in fact, there are many things to say, but one of the things that I wanted to share was that it is because of my regular travel to Kathmandu and Nepal about 25 years ago, when the movement between Malaysia and Nepal was not even very much. It was very basic, and there were only about 30,000 Nepalese workers at that time in Malaysia. But at that time, I actually negotiated with the Nepal Airlines. It was called Royal Nepal Airlines at the time. I negotiated with them to bring a flight to Malaysia. So initially, they were very reluctant. They said, no, we don't have the load, People can travel by bus to Singapore, and from Singapore they can travel and all that. But I kind of gave them an assurance that if there is any financial implication, we are prepared to stand guarantee. So we were very happy that after that meeting, the Nepal Airlines decided to fly to Malaysia about 25 years ago, and I had the privilege of organizing the inaugural flight and becoming their general sales agent and handling their operations for about 15 years in Malaysia. So that's how our connection has been since that time in the business sector itself. I think there's a lot of emotional and cultural connection, the cultural connect, the fact that this country is majority Hindu and so many nice temples and good people, and the culture as a whole has always attracted me here. So that then eventually that evolved into uh, a new sort of purpose that, can we help Nepal a little bit in our small way? Not that I can change Nepal or anything, but in a small way we can help Nepal to grow, uh, to uh, to have business meetings, to have business partners here. So from that cultural and emotional connect, it grew into developing business. So that is when about 15 years ago, I set up the Malaysia Nepal Business Council. This is the one that we are here today with, the Malaysia Nepal Business Council. This was set up 15 years ago purely to see how we could connect Malaysia with Nepal more actively. Because there isn't or there wasn't any body in Malaysia, any organization that was engaging in a systematic way with Nepal business community. So then I thought maybe this can be a small platform. And I think we have done reasonably well in the last 15 years. Maybe we have brought about, I would say, 8 business delegations to Nepal already. So today we are here one more time with another business delegation. And we hope that business opportunities will grow. We can connect more Nepal business people with the Malaysian business people, and maybe encourage more exports from Nepal, more imports from Malaysia, and basically contribute in our small way to the economy of Nepal, in our own small way. So Malaysia is in the ASEAN region. I think after Singapore, it would be Malaysia or Vietnam, maybe one of these, the top 2 or 3 exporting countries. But Malaysia today stands as the, I think, 20th largest exporting country in the world. They export a lot of manufactured products to the world. So, like Nepal, Malaysia, maybe 40 years ago, was an agriculture-based country. And 40 years ago, then the leadership of Malaysia at that time was, I think, Prime Minister Mahathir. He wanted to make Malaysia industrialized. So he pushed the industrialization agenda of Malaysia in a very aggressive and systematic manner. You know, so I think today Nepal is lying in that position. I can see because so much of change I'm seeing in the last 10 years itself. So much of growth and better roads and more buildings coming up. Maybe there is still a gap in the infrastructure area, but I think what we can learn from Malaysia is that leadership makes a big difference, and somebody up top leadership must have the vision that we want to now transform Nepal from, say, an agriculture based country to industrialized country, manufacturing country, or you want it to be a pure tourism country. It depends what the leadership wants and what the people want, you see. But if Nepal wants to build an economy which is sustainable, they need industries. You know, no country can survive without industries. So to build industries, then you need to have a plan of action. You know, you need the government to be very clear in its vision, where the industries will be located, which industries they want to target, and then there's got to be a huge sort of initiative from the government side to go around the world to attract industries to Nepal. You know, I mean, I do see some industries coming in, but what I'm also seeing is that the there isn't like a plan to go around the world to attract industries to Nepal. When investors come, which is mostly the initiative of the private sector, like today we are from the private sector, we have come here, we are meeting with our counterparts, you know, CNI and FNCCI and FEEN and FNCSI, all these people, we had wonderful meetings. So it is very much a private sector initiative, almost all through. So if the government slightly shifts its mindset to become more, you can say, business friendly, they can actually go out to the world, to different countries, with targeted projects, targeted sectors, and invite investors to come. And this is actually what Malaysia did from 40 years ago, and they're still doing it today. Even today, there's always trade missions by the government to go and bring in investors, bring in FDIs, bring in manufacturers. So this is something I feel maybe a time has come that the Nepal government and administration can do a bit more aggressively. Well, actually, we don't want to go into detail of that, but I'll put it in a summary to you. The World Bank Ease of Doing Business report will tell you where Nepal stands. Okay, so a country like Mauritius, small country like Mauritius, it stands in the top 10 in the world for ease of doing business. Malaysia is, I think, top 20 in the world today for ease of doing business. Singapore is always number one, number two in the World Bank report, always for the last 10, 15, 20 years. You know, New Zealand is also number one, number two. I think Nepal stands around 130, 140, around that. So that answers your question. You know, the bureaucracy in registering a business, bureaucracy in opening a bank account, bureaucracy in getting a license, the bureaucracy in getting your signboards approved. So all these are the bureaucracies. But if the government just goes through the World Bank Ease of Doing Business report, you will find there what are the criteria that they need to improve to become better. So we did speak about it today also to some of the people that we met. And if the government takes this initiative, then for a country like Nepal, which is not very difficult to manage, it's relatively easy, the administration is relatively easy to manage, I think they can bring a huge change in the next 2-3 years, you know, to make it more efficient. If an investor comes here, within one day he'll get his company registered, one day you open your bank account, you know, one day get your licenses approved, and you can start business in 1 week or 10 days, something like that. You see? So this is what bureaucracy is all about. You know, and I don't want to go into the details, but it gives you a very broad overview of how important the ease of doing business is. Yeah, actually, we had a very good meeting. I think he's a very positive person. So we shared with him some areas where we are prepared to come and invest. You know, because in this delegation itself, we already have a few of them who are very happy to invest here. They are seeing the growth of Nepal, and they're seeing that Nepal is at a turning point now where growth can be quite exponential. I think the infrastructure has gotten better. More people have become middle class, more people educated. Banks seem to be talking to us. They're very positive, you know, about funding and all. So we had a good meeting. We shared with the finance minister, And I think he appreciates the whole initiative. And we did also tell him that it's important for the Nepal side, to be a bit more proactive in inviting investors. So right now it's a situation where investors are coming to them, are going to the finance minister and say, we would like to do this. But it would be very nice if the government can go out and say, come, this is what we can do for you, come and invest here. So it needs a little mindset shift. We did share with the finance minister some thoughts on this, and I think they were quite appreciative of it. It's not just for me, but I would say the delegation members, right? So there are few areas that we have actually narrowed down and we are working on it. And just now we met the mayor of Lalitpur. We shared him also. Yeah. So of course, in one area where we have already come in is the retail sector. KK Mart is already here now, and KK Mart has got 19 outlets now, and they are growing. So in that sector now, of course, we came in quite some time ago, but we had some challenges in different areas. But now it's stabilized and it's moving in the right direction. Then the other area where we are looking very actively is the plastic recycling plant. So one of our delegates has got a plant in Malaysia, and he has looked at the environment, and he realized that almost 30% plus of the used plastic is going into the landfills as waste, So he said if they could tap that amount of plastic, it can do a lot of recycling and then become very valuable, this product to be sold to the world. So he's actively engaging in that. Then we also have one of our gentlemen who is very strong in the tech industry, IT industry. He's actually one of the largest e-commerce platforms in the country, where they provide an ecosystem for traders and business people. So they are also looking at the e-commerce sector here. Plus, they're also looking at it very broadly at the moment, whether they can set up a technology park here. Actually, now today Nepal will need a technology park. So this message, if it goes to the government that a technology park will bring a lot of benefit to Nepal, then people like our delegate member are ready to participate in that project. So a few things like that are developing. We hope they materialize. If we get the right partners, they'll materialize. And we also had good meetings with FEE and FEEN, Federation of Exporters of Nepal, and the FNCSI. So we also want to take an active role to see how we can help them to export their goods to Malaysia. So we have been discussing about setting up a warehouse facility in Malaysia where their goods can come, and then they can distribute their goods to all the retailers or the wholesalers in Malaysia. So we are having a very serious discussion in that area also. You seem to have a lot of agriculture products right now, from what I see. You have good agro products, your cardamom, your ginger, but you also produce some other interesting products, like your handicraft products. They're making shoes. There are many products. We had a good look at it, and I think a good number of those products are capable of being exported. But we need a plan. We need to have a way to take this forward. So we did discuss maybe a warehousing facility in Malaysia. Those who want to export their products, they can send to this warehouse, and then the warehouse will then do the support to sell the products, collect the payments, and remit back to them. This is a very interesting subject for me. So I've been saying this for a while, that basically everyone looks at Nepal as an exporter of labor. Now that's not a good branding that you want. Then even the industry people, sometimes you feel that we are looked at as we're coming from a country where we only know how to export laborers, you see. So first and foremost, there's two ways to look at it. First and foremost, I think there are enough products at the moment in Nepal being manufactured, although in a smaller way, including garments and carpets and things like that, which can be more aggressively exported. That's the first thing I would say. These these products can be more aggressively exported, and definitely you will find a market. Maybe initially it may not be big, but you have to start somewhere. And I noticed that they are exporting only to places like USA and Canada and UK and all. There are very few Asian countries besides India and China to where they're exporting. So this is one of the things we discussed. Why don't you look at Malaysia to export, look at Singapore, look at Indonesia, very big market, and the ASEAN market is 700 million people.
Yeah.
So this is a huge market, but you need to come and then set up base in one of those countries, and from there you export. So we had a good discussion on this, and I think this will work out soon. So this is kind of a short-term remedy to the perception of a country exporting labor. Okay. On the long-term side, actually we have a plan, and we think that the industry, the private sector, and the government, if they engage in this, they can transform Nepal from a labor exporting market to a talent exporting market in the next 10 to 15 years. And actually, when you have talent, you don't have to export even, you can build your own economy. But right now, I believe that my numbers stand corrected, okay? I believe that 60-70% of the Nepalese live in the village areas. Am I right? Is the number close?
Somehow close.
About that, right?
Yeah.
So let's say ballpark 70% of these people live in the village areas, and the metropolitan and all is the balance, say 30% or so. From what my observation is, almost all the 70% in the villages, they, almost all, I would say 95% of them, they are going to become laborers. If somebody has a child 7 years old today, in 10 years' time, that child is going to be a laborer. It's a very simple thing, because the parents are laborers, they don't have education, they don't know how to teach the child, and they don't know anything else but just to do the normal thing, and the child grows up and then becomes more or less what the parents are doing. 5-10% will come out of that cycle, but 90%, 95% will get back into it. So on the side, actually, we have, you can call a social initiative, which we are doing, where we are going to places where poor people live, poor Nepalese live. We are working with the local community, with the schools and things like that, where we are telling them, you take the young children now from the poor families where the parents are laborers, take them at the age of 7, 8 and 9. So from a potential laborer in 10 years' time, let's make them into a potential graduate. So we have a very big project in Malaysia. We have more than 30 centers in the last 5 years we have set up in Malaysia. It's working extremely well, touch wood. We started this initiative in Nepal 6 years ago, not 6 years, 6 months ago, with a local foundation here as our partner, Bajra Yogini Foundation, and one more, Vishnu Saraswati Foundation. These two foundations are working with us. And in the last 6 months, we have already set up 6 centers here. So we already have a few hundred children coming to our classes after school. After they go to regular school, after school they come to us. We give them extra tuition after school, which right now only children from middle class, upper middle class families can afford. They cannot afford tuition. So they are potential laborers. So we are providing them this extra coaching after school. And we hope that these children who are potential laborers will become potential graduates in 10 years' time. I think to transform Nepal, there needs to be a long-term plan. And of course, many things can be done, but I think this is one of the small things we can do as private sector, as entrepreneurs, to help society. We don't know yet, but basically we just firstly want to remind him that we are there. We want him to look at the initiatives of Nepal a bit more aggressively. And as what I told you, one of the things just now is, I would like to suggest to the Prime Minister that there should be a team under his ministry that's going around the world to look for FDIs to come into the country, So that proactive approach is very important. And if I may just add one more thing, I don't know if we'll speak to the Prime Minister on this tomorrow or not, but in the last 2.5 days, we have had many discussions, and one of the things we discovered was that the tourist arrivals into Nepal, tourism is so important to Nepal, right? And there's so much of hotels coming up and different things related to tourism coming up. But if I take specifically Malaysia, we are told that 18,700 people come to Nepal every year from Malaysia. Big economy is one thing. We are only 4.5 hours away. Direct flights, 3 to 4 flights a day, you know. So why is it only 20,000 tourists are coming in? So I asked this question to people in several of the meetings yesterday. Why is it that only 18,700 people are coming? Can you tell me what is your opinion? Why it's only 18,000 people? Actually, nobody was able to give the answer that I thought is the right answer. So then I told them, what is my view? Because I'm familiar with Nepal and I'm familiar with Malaysia. My view is that actually people in Malaysia don't know anything about Nepal.
Yeah.
There is no promotions being done in Malaysia about Nepal. There's no promotions being done in Singapore. There's no promotions being done in Indonesia. I don't know enough, but if there are any promotions, it's probably being done in the USA or in the UK. And I think most of the tourists come from there will be backpackers and budget travelers and things like that. But people coming from Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, they will all be 4-star, 5-star tourists, but we are not putting enough attention. So there's got to be a different way to promote. I know the tourism board here goes there, has roadshows and all, but that's an old way of promoting. That's old school.
Yeah.
Now the digital platform is so powerful. Without going out of your office, you can reach the world. So we need to reach the Malaysian population now in a new way. And I tell you my view, because I have a tourism background for the last 45 years. Okay, in my view, in 1 year, if this thing is done properly, in 1 year, the tourism arrivals from Malaysia can increase 400 to 500%. From 18,000, you can get 1 lakh people coming in. But we need a proper strategy for that. And that strategy is missing at the moment, in my humble view on that. So basically, I have brought many business people here. Many of them are already doing some business here. Of course, we also did invest at one point in time in the herbal extraction plant. And we are very active in the tourism side also. Yeah. And we are the ones who actually brought in the KK Mart brand here, and it's doing well now. And we hope that it will continue to grow. And we are very positive about Nepal. Looking at what we are seeing today, I think a lot of opportunities there. A little bit of the ease of doing business aspect has to come in. The bureaucracy has to be reduced. More and more people will come. And I think Nepal, the opportunity to grow is tremendous right now. Whether the IT sector, manufacturing sector, tourism sector, infrastructure sector, everywhere we are seeing the interest. So with the government push, this can happen very quickly. So that's on the business side. And then on the non-business side, personal, humanity side, like I said, we are very engaged with the early education program for Nepalese poor children. And we started this last 6 months with the 2 foundations I mentioned, and it's going well. So we hope that this will continue to grow. No, I just want to say that Nepal is a wonderful place to be. Whoever comes here, whoever our friends come here, they just love the place. Unfortunately, that's not enough. We need to translate their love into a way where Nepal can benefit and grow. Yeah, monetize it in a sincere way. We don't want to capitalize on them, but get them to come here and invest, spend more money, bring their friends around. So for that, the government has to play a role. The tourism board has to play a role. And that role, I would say, the word I would use there is, I think they have to be proactive. Right now, people come, we take care of them very well, we send them back. Now we have to be proactive to go and make them to come, to make more people to come, and continue to take care of them, and let them go back happy, so that they will come back again, and they will spread the word about the wonder and beauty of Nepal.